Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. And tonight's Raw wasn't that good of a show. The first 2 hours were, pretty poor. But the third hour I thought was, decent. But I have to say last week's Raw was much better than what we got tonight. So, but this week kicks off the WWE week on USA. They started with Raw tonight, then tomorrow will be SmackDown. Wednesday, NXT will be on USA at 7 o'clock. So that's pretty cool. And then Tribute to the Troops will be coming on Thursday from 8 to 10. So I will review Tribute to the Troops. So, but yeah, that's WWE week on USA this whole week from tonight until Thursday. So, but let's kick off this Raw review. The show opened up with Samoa Joe in the ring. He says that he's seen the Shield up close and that he's not impressed with them. He says he's come out here to finish up what he was going to do to Roman, and Joe ends up saying, don't bring Seth or Dean out, just only you come out. And he goes on to say that if it weren't for the Shield, he would be nothing, and he tells Roman to come down and prove him wrong. And so Roman ends up coming out, and him and Joe go at it. They have a little brawl. Cesaro and Sheamus come out, and all three of them start taking out Roman. Seth and Dean end up coming out to take out Cesaro and Sheamus, and Joe had Roman in the Coquina Clutch. And Cesaro and Sheamus then took out Seth, and then Joe, Cesaro, and Sheamus ended up being up on Dean, and we saw just Joe just give just slam Dean down to the canvas, and that pretty much ended the segment. It was okay. Segment with them wasn't good or great by any means though. So, yeah. And then the first match it was Mandy Rose and Paige versus Bayley and Mickie James. And before the match started, Absolution came out. Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose. They came out. Paige says, she got to squash, the boss, Sasha Banks last week, and that, the Absolution train is going to squish two former women's champions, and pretty much that's basically, after that the match started. Pretty much it was just a typical women's match. It was pretty meh at best. Wasn't good or great by any means, but Mandy Rose and Paige got the win, with Paige giving a kick to Mickie in the back, and so Mandy Rose and Paige won the match. So, but the match was pretty meh. Wasn't good or great by any means. Then after that, we had the Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy promo. Bray Wyatt cut a promo saying, it's good versus night, saying it's his game. And he says he's waiting for Matt Hardy, and that, he is a lie, and that he's, a golden cap. And, Matt Hardy ends up coming on, in the Woken thing where he says Sister Abigail hasn't existed for eternities, and that, her soul is for Bray Wyatt. So Matt Hardy said, oh, he knew Sister Abigail, you know, first than Bray Wyatt, though. But it was a good promo. It was really enjoyable promo. Really liked that. Want to see how this feud between Bray and Matt, out that now he has the Woken gimmick. We'll see how this goes. It was a good promo from the both of them. Gets you really hyped for this feud that they're having. Then after that, we saw Enzo Amore talking to his cruiserweight title. Drew Gulak was there, and he says that there is going to be a second chance fatal 4-way tonight because if you all don't know, Rich Swann got arrested, and he had a altercation with his wife, where his wife is a wrestler also, and it was basically his wife. Like what I read, ran out of the car. He ended up getting out of the car. He didn't put the car in park, and the car went right into a telephone pole, crashed into the telephone pole, and he basically, got his wife, put his wife in a headlock, and so he was arrested for that. He went to jail. He's now from according to reports, he's now released from jail. So, and WWE suspended him for that, though, but didn't end up firing him, didn't end up releasing him. They just put him on suspension. So, but now tonight they had the Fatal 4-Way again for a second chance. So it's basically just that little segment with Enzo and Drew Gulak. Wasn't much. And then it was the second match. It was Finn Balor versus Curtis Axel. This was a throwaway match. Finn is just being buried here. This is really shitty booking. Finn deserves a lot better than what the booking is giving him. It was just a throwaway. Finn Balor ended up getting the win with the coup de grace on Curtis. Bo Dallas was out there also at ringside. So pretty much it was basically a nothing match. It was shitty. It was boring. It's just a throwaway match. Then after that, we had Kane cutting a promo about Strowman, saying, to him that tonight, they step into the abyss, and that tonight Kane will climb out alone. He will climb out alone, and that he will know that he crushed more than Strowman's throat, and that he will go on to compete with Lesnar, and at the Rumble, he will become Universal Champion, because Strowman versus Kane tonight, and whoever wins that match gets to face Lesnar for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble. So, but it was a okay promo that Kane cut. Wasn't perfect or by any means. Then the next match, it was Seth Rollins versus Sheamus. Once again, it's like the same match with them, every single week. But it was a pretty entertaining match. It was decent. You had Seth Rollins hit the Falcon Arrow on Sheamus, which was pretty cool. I like when Seth does the Falcon Arrow. But Seth's knee was injured during the match because when Cesaro and Sheamus and Joe were, attacking Roman. Seth and Dean ended up coming out to try and save Roman, and then I guess that's when Seth's knee was injured, got injured. But Seth got the win with the knee to Sheamus. So, but it's the same match that we've seen, every week. So, but it was decent. Then after the match, we saw Renee interviewing Ambrose, talking about his strategy going into his match with Joe tonight. And Dean was like, he says, that he is ready to get his hands on Joe. So it was a decent little interview with Dean. So, then we had the Fatal 4-Way, the Second Chance Fatal 4-Way. Cedric Alexander versus Tony Nese, Mustafa Ali, and Ariya Daivari. And this was entertaining. I have to say, last week's match was better, but this one tonight wasn't that bad. It was pretty entertaining, and you had Drew Gulak on commentary through the match, but it was back and forth between them. Cedric Alexander got the win with the lumbar check on Ariya Daivari to score the win. And after the match, Cedric says, this was his second chance, and next he will defeat Drew Gulak, and then he will face Enzo and and beat Enzo possibly, and take he will become the new cruiserweight champion. So, but it was an entertaining second chance fatal 4-way. I was rooting for Cedric to win this. He deserves to have an opportunity. Going for the cruiserweight title. But so next week it's going to be Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander, and the winner of that match will get to face Enzo for the cruiserweight title. So, but I like Drew Gulak. He's pretty good in the ring. Cedric Alexander is very entertaining. One of my favorites on the cruiserweight division. But really wouldn't mind seeing Cedric Alexander as a cruiserweight champion. But after the match, that we saw Enzo and Drew Gulak backstage. Gulak says, when he beats Cedric, he will face Enzo, and he will take the cruiserweight title. And Enzo says to him that he's only won one match, and Enzo goes on to say that his PowerPoints are, he's going to say soft, but then he stopped, and then Gulak says, they're informative. And then Nia Jax comes and says it's good to see. She says it's good to see Enzo and Drew Gulak, and she says to Enzo that that they should talk when he's not busy. So it was just more randomness. I know they're possibly gonna do this whole Nia Jax Enzo relationship thing, which is gonna be stupid. I'm already this is gonna be stupid. And then we had Roman Reigns versus Cesaro for the Intercontinental title, the Intercontinental Championship. This was pretty entertaining. This was a decent match. was back and forth between Roman and Cesaro. During the commercial break, we saw Cesaro end up, injuring Roman's arm. And, it was through the match, Cesaro was just working on that injured arm of Roman. But you had at the end of the match where, where Cesaro hit the, hit the elbow to Roman, and then, Roman counted out of that, kicked out of that, and Cesaro was going for the neutralizer, but Roman Reigns ended up reversing it, giving Cesaro a back body drop and a spear. Roman gave Cesaro the spear to score the win, and so Roman Reigns still retains the Intercontinental title. So, but it was a decent match. It was very enjoyable. Both of them put on a decent, solid match. Then after that, we had Braun Strowman cutting the promo on Kane, saying Kane tried to crush his throat and end his career. Tried to end his career, and he goes on to say tonight he will get that Kane will be getting the full dose of what Strowman is gonna do to him. And he says at the Rumble he wants Lesnar again. So it was a pretty good promo from Strowman. And next, it was originally going to be Asuka versus Alicia Fox once again, but Absolution ended up coming out. Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose, they came back out, and Paige says, where is Alicia? And she ends up putting Alicia on the Titantron. We see that she's injured from them, because you saw Alicia with one of the refs backstage. And Paige says that she respects Asuka, and that she is getting in the way. And she goes on to say that that she can't stop Absolution. And Paige says to Asuka for her to either move out of the way, or they will make her move out of the way. And so Asuka then eliminates Mandy and Sonya, and then she ends up putting Paige in the Asuka lock, but Mandy and Sonya end up coming back in, and they beat up on Asuka. Also, Paige, beats up on Asuka, and then you had the whole entire Raw Women's Division come out, and they started taking out Absolution. Pretty much, I think this is leading to them doing a Women's Royal Rumble, which we don't need, because it's rumored saying that WWE wants to do a Women's Royal Rumble. We don't need it. We don't need a Women's Royal Rumble. But it was a good brawl that that surfaced between the Raw Women's Division, with them taking out Absolution. Thought that was pretty awesome. Then after that, we had Jason Jordan come in to see his father, Kurt Angle, and he apologizes to him about his actions last week. And he says to Kurt, why hasn't he put him in a match with Samoa Joe? And Jason says that Jason tells Kurt that he could beat Joe, and Kurt says to him that he will have his match with Joe when he feels like putting him in it. And then Jason is not too happy about that, and then he walks up and says, "All right, Kurt," but little by little, they're gonna start to turn Jason Jordan heel, because it's been rumored. And then we get to the next match, Samoa Joe versus Dean Ambrose. And Jason Jordan was sitting on stage watching the match. And it was a decent match between Joe and Ambrose. It was back and forth between them. You had Ambrose trying to keep Joe down. Jason Jordan ended up getting involved in the match later on, which led to Ambrose and Jason Jordan having a stare down, and we just saw Samoa Joe just come out and take the both of them out, and Joe got the win with the Coquina clutch on Ambrose. Ambrose was knocked out, was passed out, and probably this is going to lead to maybe Ambrose having a feud with Jason Jordan, and possibly they're going to give Joe another feud, another storyline to work with. But who knows? But all in all, Joe versus Ambrose, it was a decent match. It was entertaining. And then after that, we saw Dana Brooke, Titus O'Neil, and Apollo Crews backstage. Titus awards Dana the head of research development for Titus Worldwide, which said that Dana Brooke is being booked like this. And then Gallows and Anderson end up coming, and with them, they're doing the same thing. It's sad to see how WWE is using Gallows and Anderson. These guys were former Raw Tag Team Champions, and now you had them promoting WWE Shop for the holidays, and now they're using them less. But they end up coming, Gallows and Anderson, and they say, who works at, the people that work at Titus O'Neil, or the people that work at Titus Worldwide are nerds. Their little saying. Then what was funny, they all freak out when they see Strowman making his way out, which was funny, which was hilarious. And we saw just Strowman making his way out, going to the ring to have the match with Kane. And pretty much that was the main event. The main event was Strowman versus Kane, and it was good. It was a good main event, and they had to reinforce the ring, just in case if something were to happen, they don't want the ring to collapse. But they had the match, and it led to them going out of the ring, and they went through the crowd. They both ended up getting counted out, so the match ended in a no contest. And we saw Kane and Braun both ended up taking one of the steel steps, and they slammed it into each other. Braun ended up putting Kane back in the ring. Braun ended up then going under the ring and retrieving a table because the crowd was chanting, we want tables. And when Strowman took out the table, the whole crowd was chanting, yes, yes. And we then saw Kane then retrieve a chair from under the ring. He hit Strowman with the chair. He kept on hitting Strowman with the chair, and what was funny, Kane actually ended up tripping, which was funny. And then they both clotheslined each other. Both of them were down. Kane ended up sitting up first, and then Strowman ended up getting up. Just like how Kane and Taker do it. How Kane and Taker sit up. and I was like, whoa, how do you get up from that? But they both got back up, and then we saw Strowman just drives Kane through the table with the running power slam, and that ended Raw for tonight. But I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this whole main event, or as you would call it, this little brawl that Strowman and Kane had to end Raw tonight. Really liking how this rivalry between the both of them, or this feud between Strowman and Kane are going. Really am enjoying it. So, but now, since the both of them didn't win the match, neither Strowman or Kane won the match. Possibly it might be a triple threat match now that they're going to have at the Rumble. So it'll be Strowman versus Kane versus Lesnar for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble. So maybe it will be a triple threat. Who knows? But I know it's possibly leading to that. So, but yeah. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow night for my SmackDown review.